Good afternoon, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the afternoon weather update, or one of many afternoon weather updates you've been receiving so far over the last couple of days. And now that we are coming to an end here with this winter storm, we're finally seeing the last little bit of snow begin to push out of the tri-state. So I'll pull up our radar in a second, but we're still on alert here, mostly now for that brutal cold through the beginning of the work week. That alert runs through Wednesday morning. We're talking about dangerous cold, wind chill values potentially anywhere between -10 to -20 degrees are possible tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, and then again on Wednesday morning. But it looks like tomorrow morning will likely be the coldest of the next several. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with a look at what's going on around the tri-state right now. This is a sky cam out of Owensboro along the riverfront there. Earlier, about 30 minutes ago, I was looking at the sky cam and it was really still coming down, but the last little bits of that snow band is now pushed off to the northeast, even of Owensboro, and now we're just left with this nice blanket of snow across much of the tri-state. And looking at your snowfall reports, there are several snowfall reports that I've collected from the National Weather Service. They have a nice little database going now with an interactive map where you can kind of search through all our different counties and get different reports. So here's a couple of reports. Now keep in mind, some of these were taken a couple of hours ago and we still had some snow falling at the time these were given. So these may still need to get adjusted a little bit with that a little bit of extra accumulation we've gotten throughout the last couple of hours. But these are some pretty good numbers, I think. Albion up in Illinois got the most out of all the reports that I've seen so far. 13 inches of snow, just shy of that in Carmi, and then out towards Princeton, you've got just around a foot. Evansville, the airport, officially measured 10.5 inches of snow as of noon today. So this is even a little bit of an older report. We may have picked up perhaps even another ½ inch out of some of these snow bands since then. Poseyville, right in line kind of with Evansville, 10.5 inches there. Newburgh, only around 6, but again, that was a bit of an older report, so we may still see some of these numbers climb here as more reports come in now that the snow is finally ending. But that is a look at just some of those snowfall totals. So it was a snowy night, a snowy Sunday, and now it's beginning to come to an end. This area of low pressure that was a monster winter storm bringing snow to Texas and all the way to the East Coast is now pushing all the way out towards the East Coast, and that's going to become another snowstorm for my friends up in New England. But for us, we're now beginning to dry out. You can see the last little bits of these snow bands just streaking on by. Those will clear out of here within the next hour. Still got some snow here in the Evansville area currently falling, even out towards Warwick County, Pike, and Du Bois. We all have a little band still hanging on for dear life, but it is drying up fairly quickly. So this will start to fizzle out. We've already started to clear out across western Kentucky, maybe even a little peak of sunshine as these snow showers clear out of here, but I think we'll hold on to the clouds through much of the night tonight before we finally begin to clear out into early tomorrow morning. But what's most impactful now that the storm is over is going to be the brutal cold and, of course, the residual travel hazard. So if you've tried, or even if you've looked outside, you'll know that the roads are in bad shape, or at least a lot of those side roads, and none of them, or at least outside of the main roads, you know, the interstates and the main thoroughfares, a lot of those side roads are very, very, very treacherous, and a lot of us live on those side roads. So I recommend you just stay put. We've been telling you that that's all we've wanted you to do this whole weekend was just stay put, and we still want you to stay put through the rest of today and even likely into tomorrow. These road crews are going to be putting in a lot of work to help clear all the snow out of there. But if you are an essential worker and you do have to be somewhere and you have to get out on the roads, you want to make sure you're clearing off all the snow off your vehicle, the top of your car, the front, the rear, all of it. You want to clean off the sides as well. You don't want to drive too fast for the conditions. Obviously, you want to be going at least 10 to 15 miles below the speed limit. You want to give yourself ample space between you and the vehicle in front of you. Of course, don't use cruise control. You need to be completely in control of your speed yourself. And if you start to slide, be careful not to overcorrect or slam the brakes. You just want to calm down, take it easy, let off the brake and the acceleration, and gently steer in the direction that you want to go in to kind of get out of the skid. So those are just some driving tips. But looking at those cold weather alerts, you'll notice here that the center of the country kind of taking the bullseye of this cold air right now, all the way through the Midwest, the northern plains, down even into the Gulf Coast. There are cold weather advisories and extreme cold warnings. We are included within that extreme cold warning through Tuesday morning. So here's a look at that extreme cold warning. All of the tri-state included within that. We've been in a cold weather advisory for the last day or so because temperatures have been down in the teens and those wind chill values haven't really budged from the single digits above and below zero. We've kind of just been straddling zero over the last day or so. Still picking up on some snow across the tri-state, but again, that is going to be fizzling out here fairly quickly. And as I mentioned, our feels like temperatures kind of straddling zero on either side, above or below in the single digits. And then overnight tonight, we'll see our temperatures drop down to around zero again for our actual air temperatures, or maybe even slightly below. But with winds still out of the northwest between 8 to 15 miles per hour, those wind chill values will be a lot colder out there. So by the time you're waking up early tomorrow morning, it may feel like negative 13 in some parts of the tri-state, and potentially even colder as you go a bit more to the north. Now, like I mentioned, we are going to be pretty bitter cold here, especially through Tuesday, but we may even have to consider extending that alert there again into Wednesday morning for that cold. But regardless, it's just going to be very, very cold here through the next week. So you want to have 3+ layers at least on top, 2 or more on the bottom. Warm boots, 2 pairs of socks, gloves, a mask, a scarf, and a warm hat. You want to cover all exposed skin, especially if you're going to be outside, which we don't recommend. You want to limit your time outdoors, which I know is going to be difficult, especially for the kiddos. They want to play out in the snow, but you know, you've got to really, really, really monitor the amount of time they're spending out there. Keep it, you know, brief, 15 minutes at a time, and then let them come back inside and warm up because it is just so cold out there. And looking at our next 7-day temperature trend, we don't warm up above freezing for at least the next week. So we have a very long consecutive cold stretch of weather here for the next 7 days at least. And then with that, you want to remember the 3 P's of cold safety, and that is people, pets, and pipes. Jeff was mentioning it earlier. Now is a good time to be a good neighbor, especially after a winter storm and with all this cold coming through. Check in on your neighbors, especially the elderly ones, and then those that are living alone, making sure that they're squared away, their heat is working, they have you know, a nice emergency kit with blankets and stuff just in case you know, they lose power. Not expecting people to lose power, at least at this point in time, now that the storm is pretty much winding down. But you know, it still can get very, very cold if people aren't checking in on others. Pets, you want to bring your pets indoors if possible and ensure that they have a warm shelter and fresh water. Obviously, if you can't bring them inside, hopefully you have some sort of structure outside, like an outhouse with some insulation or hay or something that you can leave them in. And then, of course, filling up their water pretty quickly as it will likely freeze with these temperatures. So you want to be replenishing that. And then your pipes, you want to open up the cabinets under the sink so that that heat can get in and help warm things up. And you also want to run a trickle of water to avoid frozen pipes, because frozen pipes are a pain to deal with. If anyone has ever had the displeasure of dealing with that before, I am sorry. But there is a look at your 7-day forecast there. I'm going to take this full screen so that just you can get a better look at it. So we're on alert here now, at least through Wednesday morning at this point, because we have those extremely cold temperatures. Again, wind chill values tomorrow morning could end up anywhere between -10 to -20 degrees. Same thing Tuesday and Wednesday morning. So you need to be prepared for that, wearing multiple layers and all of that. So let me go ahead and check out some of the comments for you. If you've got any reports, please feel free to send them my way. We love your reports and your pictures too. Clint says, thank you. Susan is watching. Gabby asked, how much snow did Evansville get? Well, at least at the Evansville airport, that's our official you know, measurement that we use. They got 10.5 inches, and that was at recorded at noon, so may very well have gotten a little bit more of additional snowfall on top of that, but that's pretty much a good bet for the Evansville area. 9 inches on the ground, says Jerry, in Boonville, and it's still snowing, and that was taken at 4 p.m. Thank you very much. Kevin's measuring between 12 and 13 inches in Shoals, Indiana, and it's also still snowing there. Thank you very much. Jessica talking about the road conditions, even living on a main snow route, and it's still impassable. So that's just kind of another ground report from one of our viewers there talking about just how bad the roads can be to drive on. So we recommend that you just stay put. Isaac Calvert, you're very welcome. And the road to Jimmy John's is in fact not clear. I've already checked. Laura Gray is watching from Dawson Springs. Robin says she is just chilling. I'm thinking that's a little bit of a pun there, talking about the cold weather. All right, James here to talk about some of the pipes. Already been out twice in Newburgh for water main breaks. Even in four-wheel drive, in our company truck, it's a little iffy to drive. Be careful and keep an eye out for us utility workers and the ones who are trying to fix pipes and lines. Yes, that is a great point. That's another reason we just want you guys to stay put. You don't want to be out on the roads, especially with linemen who are trying to maybe fix some isolated power outages. Like James said, he's been out trying to fix water main breaks, and then of course the road crews are trying to just plow the road. So it's a lot harder for them to do their jobs if everyone is on the roads as well. So just stay put. Sarah says, thanks for keeping us up to date. And it says, Janae says she has about 10 inches off of Riverside by the Zesto. Thank you for that report, Janae. All right, so that is all the comments and questions I'm seeing so far. Thank you so much, you guys, for all of your reports, and thank you for, bearing with this whole thing. We've been talking about this storm for about a week now. We've been constantly updating you, trying to give you guys the best updates that we can so that you're always aware of what's going on. So I really appreciate your guys' help in those efforts as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And this seems to be the end of the stream here, so I'm going to log off. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 5 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your night. I will be back here on streaming for our normal 9 p.m. weather show. So, after the 5 p.m., we'll have a little bit of a break here before you see me again at 9 p.m. on all streaming. And then we'll be back again, of course, on air after Sunday Night Football wraps up this evening. So stay safe, everybody, and please stay as warm as you can and stay put if at all possible.